So it's just me today. I got my Red Bull. What we're going to be talking about is AI and leveraging AI and how I use ChatGPT and how y'all can use ChatGPT as well to essentially be able to just be even more effective and more intelligent in what you're doing, be able to plan things out even better. And with ChatGPT, it's very powerful because I don't know if y'all understand exactly what a large language model is and understand the technical side of AI and that technology and everything. But essentially what it is it's a large language model, which it has all the information in, let's say, all these different books that it's able to pull from to be able to give you a general understanding of what it is that it's talking about, right? So let's say you're asking a question about law. Is it legal to do X, Y, and Z? It'll go in and it'll actually be able to pull information from law books and things online and different resources from different places to be able to essentially accumulate that knowledge to give you the best answer possible. So I'm gonna show you exactly how you can actually use this to be able to first understand business, understand what skills you have, understand what skills you may need, and then also understand pretty much exactly how to strategize and build out your business and do outreach with your business. So without further ado, we're going to hop into ChatGPT. Okay, so as you can see here, I hope y'all can see well. If y'all are on Instagram, it may be a little more difficult for y'all to be able to see what I'm looking at. But if you do want to really follow this closely, go to YouTube, process_delta, and you should be able to see our live stream there. So essentially what you're going to want to do first is I'm going to actually not be using ChatGPT 4 because this is a paid version. You're able to do a bunch of different things for that, but I understand that some people may not have access to the paid version. So I'm just going to show you all how to use it pretty basically. So as far as ChatGPT goes, just think of it as an intelligent person that you're communicating with, somebody that you're talking to and somebody that you're conversating with and trying to understand with. And the way that I do this is I pretty much just talk to it and tell it what I need or kind of give it a basic understanding. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is we're going to go ahead and give it a few parameters. So the goal of this right here is going to be trying to understand business, trying to understand what I can do with the skills that I have. So let's say you are somebody who is a video editor. You're a video editor, and you may not understand exactly how to make money off your skills. So let's say, let's give it a little context. So this is pretty basic. I'm just telling it, I want to be able to make money off of my skills. What information will you need to best help me? Essentially, you're just talking to it and telling it the goal and then asking it what it needs to be able to actually help you accomplish that goal. So in this case, it's most likely going to ask you information about what skills you have and what you're good at and what you're not good at and that kind of thing. So first off, this is going off of the basis that you already have skills to actually build off of, right? So now it has a bunch of different questions that it wants me to answer. So we'll go ahead and kind of answer a few of these questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to answer all of them. So what I just did there was I just copied this and pasted it back into the actual chat so I can actually communicate back with it and give it the answers that it's looking for. So what specific skills and areas of expertise? Please provide details about your skills and believe can be monetized. Oh shit, I did not mean to do that. That is on me, guys. I'm slowing us down. Okay, so what I'm going to say is video editing. So I know how to video edit. I am very well versed in creating and editing content. And then the next one is, what is your level of proficiency in these skills? Are you beginner, intermediate, or advanced? So I'm going to say intermediate. There's always more you can learn. What are you looking to monetize your skills, online or offline or both? Obviously online. I don't know, like some people may prefer to do things in person, but if you can be anywhere in the world and really do anything, like do a job and make money from anywhere in the world, like who wouldn't want that? Like, just being completely honest, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm biased, but I'm going to say online. I want to work remotely. Damn, I cannot spell. Have you identified a target audience or market for your skills? No. So in this, do I have a target audience? Do I know who I'm trying to sell my or market my skills to? I'm going to put no. Obviously, I do kind of understand who I would be going for, but I want to see what this comes up with to see if it actually works in the best way, right? So no, I need your help to So I said, no, I do not. No, I need your help to identify who will need my skills and who I should be marketing my skills to. Marketing my skills to. What are your short-term and long-term financial goals related to monetizing your skills? So I understand that this is very like tedious and it might be very like boring. You know, we're 7 to 8 minutes in and all I'm doing is typing and saying what I'm typing. But the thing is, you got to understand how powerful this is, because this truly is like this truly is a very powerful tool to work with. And it may be tedious and it may take time to actually set up in the right way. But once you set it up in the right way, I promise you, it will be solid and you can actually build off of this. You can continue to conversate with it so that it can build larger, better, and be able to understand more of what it is that you're doing. Because as we're giving it this information, it's also kind of logging that information and making sure that like, okay, yeah, it's still aligned with the past information that we're talking about. So this is going to essentially be able to build off of like, okay, now I have all this information. What do I do with this information? How do I go about doing X, Y, and Z? And then you can communicate with that information with the GPT. So I hope that makes sense. So then we're going to keep going on. We got a few more questions here. What are your short-term and long-term financial goals related to monetizing your sales? 10K per month. USD per month. Are there any specific industries or niches you're interested in or have experience with? I'm going to say none. Because let's say this in this scenario, you are a very beginner. You understand how to make videos. You are very good at making your own videos, but you may not understand who you want to make videos for, who you have an interest of making videos for, right? So this is going to help you be able to understand that, think about it in the right way to then be able to go and lead you into that next section, right? Or that next step, which would be essentially outreach. Do you have any budget or resources available for inventing tools, training, or marketing efforts to help you monetize your skills? No. Have no capital. So let's say you have no capital and you're just starting, right? No, I have no capital, but God damn, I cannot spell. Fuck. I know this is not entertaining. I'm sorry. Okay, no, I have no capital, but I have all the tools necessary to complete this service. Are you open to learning new skills and acquiring additional knowledge? Of course. Of course, I want to keep learning and make as much money as possible. So are you open to learning to new skills or acquiring additional knowledge if you can enhance your earning potential? Of course. Who doesn't want to make more money, right? So the more skills you have, the more skills that are valuable, the more likely you are going to increase your financial positioning, right? And then have you considered the legal financial aspect of monetizing your skills, such as taxes? No, I have no clue. So this is very beginning, not even understanding any of this, right? Just trying to understand like, okay, I have a skill and I think I can make money off of this skill. How do I do that? That's essentially what you're trying to figure out here, right? This is basically a thought process of a way you can go through this and actually get to the point to where you're understanding the steps you need to take to get to where you want to be. And it's giving you direction. And I think that's one of the most important things, having direction and having the ability to know where you're headed. Because if you don't know where you're headed, then you don't know the right steps to take to get there. Are there any challenges or obstacles you anticipate in your journey to monetize your skills that you'd like to get guidance on? So what I did is I said, I have no understanding of business. I am a beginner. So that's the last question. And now let's see what it pumps out. That's some really good stuff, actually. So now I gave it a bunch of information, and this is what it pumped out. Thank you for providing more information about your skills and goals. Based on what you've shared, here's some guidance on how you can potentially monetize your video editing skills online. Identify your target audience. Consider targeting small businesses, content creators, YouTubers, social media influencers, or individuals who need video editing services, but might not have the skills or time to do it themselves. Create a portfolio. So essentially, this is just guiding you through exactly what it is that me and Grant have been talking about, right? So I would say you need to leverage ChatGPT in order to communicate with it, to be able to build out better ideas, build out better business plans, and build out like essentially what it is that you need to do and the steps you need to take. Because this can give you a step-by-step guide on exactly what you would need to do. So identify your target audience. Yes, you need to know who it is you're trying to get in contact with. And I like how it gives you some ideas on who that could be and who it is that you can actually talk with and potentially get in front of to provide the services of. And creating a portfolio. If you don't have any work to show anybody, then essentially what you're going to have to do when you first show up is you're going to have to show them like, look, I may not have anything, but I'm willing to work for free, and give me a month. And if it doesn't work, we'll split, right? You don't have to pay anything. I'll do whatever. That's a good way to actually get into the door if you don't have a portfolio yet. But I highly suggest you going in with a portfolio. If you are a video editor and you have been doing this for a while, you most likely have a bunch of information and a bunch of videos that you can actually use as your portfolio. So I would say build out that portfolio, build it and actually make it to where you can show people. And that doesn't just go for video editing. That goes for being a copywriter. That goes for marketing. That goes for everything. It's basically essentially your resume and the work that you've done in the past, showing what you've done, right? So people know that you actually can do what it is that you say you can do. So you can build that trust to have them actually want to work with you. And then online freelance platforms. So I like this, but I also don't like this, because this is definitely a good way to make money, but it also caps you out because there's certain limitations that you'll have on that. And there's certain things that you may not be able to control. So with freelance platforms like Upwork or Fiverr and different things like that, it's important that you understand that you aren't doing the outreach yourself. You're essentially on these platforms, and yes, you'll be offering your service, but maybe you could be more in control of what you're doing and have more clients coming to you rather than trying to compete with all the other Fiverr freelancers, right? I would say it's more ideal to go out and directly contact people rather than waiting for people to come to you. Especially when you're starting, because when you're starting, you don't have that reputation yet. You don't have much to show for yourself. So I'd say you really, really have to understand that since you are a beginner, since you don't know what you're doing and you may just be starting, you have to take those baby steps. You have to take those baby steps, and potentially freelancing is a way to do that. But for me, I've never gotten into freelancing. I mean, I was a freelancer, but I never used freelance platforms before. Like, I've worked with a bunch of different people in the past on content, video editing, filmmaking, cinematography, different things like that. But at the end of the day, I would say building your own agency around what skills you have is the most ideal thing, because that's what you understand, that's what you know how to do, and then you can build off of that. But to start, I would say, if you want to do a freelance, be a freelancer. If you want to go directly to people, then go directly to people. You know, I'm not one to tell you to shy away from going to these platforms if they work for you. And then number 4, networking. Networking is crucial. You know, you have to be able to connect with people. Connect with the people that you are trying to work with, you know? So number 4 ties into number 1, and essentially number 1 ties into everything else. So with networking, you have to connect with the people that you're trying to actually get in contact with, your target audience. In this case, it's content creators and potential clients, right? So you would be trying to talk to those people on the right platforms, which would be LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter, because you want to be where their focus is at. You can't be essentially shooting in the dark and expect people to actually come in and see what you're doing and want to work with you. You have to have a direction. You have to have a focus of who you're talking to. And essentially, it's like the sell me the pen scenario, because, you know, at a certain point, some people will be like, hey, sell me this pen. But if you don't need a fucking pen, then there's no way somebody's going to buy a pen. So if you create like a scarcity, that's a different conversation. But essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to sell to people that want what you're selling. Because if you're selling something that somebody does not want or does not need, then there is no need and there's no way they're going to spend their money on that, right? And that can also go on the other side of like, oh, this isn't a necessity, but yeah, they still have a drive to get it, or it could be like a luxury rather than an actual commodity. So that's a different conversation. But essentially, you just have to know who you're selling to and know that the people you're selling to are the right people. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to talk to realtors and realtors aren't the people you're trying to sell to, if you're a video editor or you're in the clothing brand industry and you're trying to contact realtors to wear your clothing or something, that's just a waste of your fucking time. You know, you're selling to somebody that may have no fucking interest in what it is you're doing. So I would say it's very crucial that you are targeting the right people in the right places. So you have to get number 1 correct. And let's say number 1 isn't necessarily solid in this case. I could go ahead and I could go in, talk to it, and be like, hey, look, I don't know if I want to be communicating with these people or these people, and that kind of thing. And then pricing strategy. Research the market rate of video editing services in your niche and set competitive prices. So you want to really make sure that you are trying to outcompete your competitors. You know, let's say someone's charging $120 an hour for work that you can do, right? Some work that you can do. You essentially, I would say you could possibly drop it down to $100 and offer $100 hourly rate if that's something that you go for. If you go for an hourly rate or if it's pay by project, I'm not sure how you want to structure that. That's kind of something you'll also have to figure out on yourself. And that's also goes into the pricing strategy. You have to understand what other video editors are doing in the market, what they're offering for the price that they're offering it. And then essentially you have to understand all 3 of that and then go into building out your own strategy. And what you can do is you can actually do that by communicating with ChatGPT in this same chat about the research that you found. And I don't want to do everything right here because that is going to be 2-3 hours of work just trying to show y'all exactly how to do it. But all you have to do is you have to just communicate with it. All you have to do is just communicate with the ChatGPT bot, and it will give you the best information it can based on the information that you give it. It's only as good as the user, right? Because if you're not talking to it in the right way and giving it the best context of what you're trying to do, then there is no way it's going to successfully achieve what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. And then legal, continuous learning, pricing strategy. So let's say now you have your pricing down, you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly who you're targeting, you're building out your network, you're trying to connect with people online in your target audience. And now you have your pricing packages built out. You know exactly what your pricing is, you know what you're offering at a set price. What you're going to do then is you're then going to want to go in and essentially continue to learn and continue to advance your skills, because as you grow as a freelancer or an entrepreneur, you can essentially charge a higher price because your time is worth more. So I would say the most important part is continuously learning, because let's say you're a video editor and maybe you're an intermediate or like you're somewhat experienced. And since you're somewhat experienced in this area, it's important that you continue to grow your skills, because you're going to be able to charge an even higher price rather than waiting for that next kid exactly like you trying to come around and able to do exactly what you're doing, but charge a lower price because he's trying to be competitive in the market as well. He's trying to do exactly what you're doing and he's just coming behind you. And now you're $100 and you got to drop it down below his to be able to even compete. But if you aren't increasing the amount of value that you provide in that video editing, then they're going to outcompete you. They're going to continue to outcompete you. And as new people come into this field, into this industry, and into this niche, it's going to get more and more competitive. You know, it's only going to keep going up. The expectation is just going to keep getting higher and higher at a lower price. So you have to continuously learn and understand that, okay, look, I have these skills. I'm very good at what I do, but there's still more that I can do. There's still more that I can learn to be able to charge an even higher price. So let's say beforehand you were able to do like 1-minute videos, and those 1-minute videos then turn into 10-minute YouTube videos or something like that. You're going to charge a higher price for the same amount. You're going to charge a higher price for doing more work. And let's say now that 10-minute video on YouTube is you're adding in motion graphics and animations and different things that you've learned. Now you can charge an even higher price for that 10-minute video rather than what you did before, because you're providing even more value. So continuous learning is very crucial in the entrepreneurial journey, especially like for me, I read a lot, and I enjoy learning. I really enjoy learning. And part of the thing is with me, I'm constantly trying to understand this world around me, understand more, understand what's new, technology, philosophy, all of the above, right? I love to learn and I apply that to everything. So as I'm gaining my skills, I'm going to be able to essentially get to the point to where I'm like, so my time is so valuable that I can charge X amount of dollars for people coming to me, right? And also working with certain people, you can work with higher level people because you have the skills necessary to be able to do that. And I don't know about y'all, but I want to be working with the smartest people in the fucking world, the best people in the world to make things fucking happen. You know, I have dreams and aspirations for what I want to do in my life, and continuous learning is going to allow me to get there. Because if you don't continuously learn, I feel like I'm on a fucking loop now, but if you don't continuously learn, you're going to be outcompeted and left behind. Bottom line, that's just how it is. And then legal and financial aspects. As you're a new business, it's crucial to familiarize yourself with basic legal and financial aspects. This includes understanding taxes, contracts, payment methods. You may want to consult with legal or financial advisors to ensure you're compliant with local regulation. Okay, so with that, when I first started, I did not worry about any of that. You know, I just did more freelancing. I didn't even open up like an LLC at first. I was really just offering my skills and what I was able to do. So I think it's important that you do understand some of that, but when you actually go down the line of trying to actually build out your LLC and build out your business, first off, I would definitely say contracts are very important. Even if you are just a freelancer or a contractor, you need to understand contracts. You need to just understand what legally binding contracts mean and how to write them and how to do that. You can find that shit online. It's so fucking easy. I write my own contracts, but I do have my own lawyers to look over stuff like that. But that's besides the point. So with legal and everything, yes, it is very important. But also the thing is, it's something that you may not need to fixate on when you're first starting, especially when it comes down to what do you call it? Just trying to find your first client, because the first client is the hardest. And all you have to do when you get that first client is just have a solid contract so you don't get fucked over. because there can be a situation where you didn't sign a contract or the contract wasn't signed correctly to where you get fucked over. And it's like you, at the end of the day, they don't have to pay you for last month because something happened or something like that. And the contract doesn't even hold up in a legal presence. So you're left in the dust. You can't do shit. But that's besides the point. It happens and it sucks, but you need to go in understanding at least contracts when you're first starting. And then going on from there, setting financial goals. Setting financial goals. You have to know what your pricing looks like. And if your pricing it keeps doing that. I hate when it does that. I wish I could turn that off. I'll probably figure a way to turn that off. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's like a thumbs up little thing popping up on my fucking screen. But yeah, as far as setting a financial goal, you have to set financial goals and you have to set goals for where you want to be over time, right? Because let's say you're charging $1,000 a month to work with a client and you're making 10 videos per month. So 10 videos, each video is $100. So with that, you would have to essentially, to get to 10K a month, you'll have to bring on 10 clients. That's 100 videos per month, right? Yeah, 100 videos per month would be 10K. Fuck, I can't math. Yes, that's correct. Oh my gosh, I'm like brain fart, fuck. But you have to set a financial goal. You have to understand what your pricing is. You have to understand where you're trying to get to. And then you got to draw those two together of where you're trying to get to and where you're at charging per client. You have to know exactly how many clients you need to be able to achieve that. And then how you can actually maintain that. And if you want, then exceed that, right? So you have to set these goals. You have to understand where you are and what you're charging and where you want to be. And then you have to do the math and figure out, okay, I need to gain X amount of clients each month to get this by the end of the year or this by the end of the month, right? So essentially for me, I charge on average with the people that we work with, we charge $5,500 per month. And we have actually increased our price a little bit. But 5.5K in the next 7 months, if I got 2 clients each month, getting up to 16 clients, I would then be at or above the $1 million mark, essentially. And that's essentially what we're trying to achieve right now with where we're at. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. You got to understand where you're at. You got to set those goals and then be able to really know where you're trying to head to. And when you're first starting, it may not make sense to essentially think so far down the line. And it doesn't even have to be that far down the line. If you can fulfill that many clients, then perfect. Go ahead and do it. It's just you don't want to take on more than you can actually service when you're first starting out, especially being a service-based company in this sense, right? Like being a service-based person, freelancer, video editor. So if you're a video editor and you're trying to make more money, you have to know that by trying to bring on too many people, you may dilute the quality of what you provide. And you got to really take that into account, because at that point, it might be smart to, hey, look, we have so many clients. Maybe you want to continue being a video editor. You want to be more on the creative side. But if you want to increase the amount of money that you are making, you either have to charge a higher price for what you offer, or you bring on more clients at the same price. And as you bring on more clients at the same price, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to bring on team members and people to help fulfill these clients so that you're not diluting your quality, so that they stay with you and actually don't move on after your contract has been essentially it's dead, or once your contract's actually dead. You have to continue to keep that in mind, especially when you're trying to reach like the $1 million mark. Like for us, as we grow that amount each month, we have spreadsheets and different things. We've completely figured out exactly how that's going to work. We need to bring on teams, and we know exactly what months we need to bring on more people at what time and how that's going to look and who we actually need, right? Like what roles we need to fulfill. And when you're first starting, you don't have to think of it in that deep of an actual strategy. You don't have to think about everything from the beginning to the end, because this might not sound great compared to the point I'm trying to make, but in 48 Laws of Power, this is what I believe. In the 48 Laws of Power, it says, plan to the very end. Don't go halfway. So if you are somebody that hyperfixates and likes to strategize and likes to make calculated moves like I do, I love to do that. That's just me personally, but it doesn't work for everybody. Figure it out. Figure it out. You don't have to figure out everything in its entirety. You will figure it out as you go, but having goals and having an understanding of where you're headed and what you need to do will be valuable, because that is a game plan that you can go off of. That is an exact plan that you can go off of. And essentially, I'll show you right now exactly how you can use ChatGPT to be able to build out that plan for you. This is something that I've used in the past, where it's like, okay, yeah, I've gone through all this information, I understand all this, and I've read through this, and now I can go in and start asking it questions. And I'm going to say, all right, I understand, I know who I'm looking for, build out a guide or step-by-step guide on how to find these people, get in connection with them, and actually provide my service, right? All right, so I said understood. Now I need a step-by-step guide on how to get in conversation with the target audience and be able to provide my services. Okay. And then it gives you a bunch of information. Essentially, this is just trying to make you understand exactly what it is that you need to do. So it's an idea generator. It's not exactly an idea generator of new ideas, but it's essentially it's forcing you to think about what it is that you're trying to do and what it is that you're needing to do, right? Let's say you have a question on trying to figure out exactly how to get in conversation with these people. It gives you exactly your target audience of who you're looking for, because you've provided that information, right? Build an online presence. So if you don't have an online presence already, it's a good idea to build out your online presence, build out your social media, and be able to actually have something to show for. And then optimize your profile. Optimize your profile so people that are looking for video editors can easily find you. If they type in video editor in the Instagram search bar or Twitter search bar, and you have video editor in your actual bio, it's more likely that you will show up. If you have something associating yourself with being a video editor, it's more likely to show up. So that's a way that you can optimize it. There's a bunch of different ways. You have to do research on that. But essentially, this is giving you just a basic overview of what it is that you should be doing in order to make sure you get what needs to be done to then be able to actually get in conversation with these people. Share your portfolio. Essentially, yeah, share your portfolio. So you have a portfolio. Let's say you have a portfolio in your video editor. You then go in and you post all these videos. And let's say you're a business owner, you're selling clothing, or you're selling a service like power washing. Shout out to my boy Brendan. But so as far as that goes, you would just post what it is that you're doing and what it is that y'all offer online. That is your portfolio. That is your portfolio. And that's what you need to share, because if people don't know what you're doing and you're reaching out to people and they can't tell what the hell you do, then there's no way for them to actually be able to have any interest in what it is that you offer. And engage with your target audience. So this is exactly the last step after. Well, not the last step. This is exactly where you're getting into actually stepping into outreach. This is where you're actually outreaching to people and getting into conversation with your target audience. Because if you're talking to your target audience, you have to be able to actually know who your target audience is, which we figured out before, and then being able to understand where they are exactly. And you can communicate with ChatGPT to help you identify exactly where they're going to be and what the best approach is to do that. So let's say we then go ahead and we know that we're looking for content creators and different people online that fit that category. So we're going to go ahead and start just interacting with them, following them online, liking their posts, commenting on their stuff, getting in their DMs and just talking to them, just having their communication and just kind of building some kind of relationship with them. Because I believe in forget the exact word for it, but relationship sells. And for me, I build relationships with everybody that I work with before I actually start working with them. That's just the way that I do it, because I feel like it's more personal. And also the thing is, it's more likely that they're going to trust me if they actually know me and know what it is that I do and what I'm about, right? Rather than just being like a super salesy guy, being super fake and superficial on the front end. I don't like to do that. I like to actually help people, right? I want to make money, of course, but I want to help people and make money at the same time. So, and then join relevant groups and forums. So with that, I would say like you need to join communities of video editors or communities of content creators and different things like that, because certain people that are looking for things that fall under those categories will then join those forums and groups and start asking for people who can provide that service. So it's important that you are exactly where their attention is going. You have to be exactly where the attention of your target audience is, and creating media and creating content that associates with that, as well as communicating with them on that. And then create valuable content. Exactly. You need to create content that actually is informative and engages with people. Because if you don't create any kind of content that people actually find valuable, then there is no way that people are going to have any interest in what you do. And that's the biggest thing. It's attention. Attention is currency. Attention is the currency of today. You have to understand how to gain people's attention, hold their attention, and then persuade them into doing what it is you want them to do, whether it be sign up for your webinar or buy your product or get on a meeting. You have to understand what value you're providing. And it has to be value that you provide specifically to your target audience. Because if you're not providing it to your specific target audience, it just goes back to saying you can't sell shit to people that don't want to be sold and don't need what you sell. Initial conversation. When you notice someone in your target audience. So initial conversation, really just offering what it is that you do. You just get in conversation with the people that you're following, the people that you're engaging with, your target audience. You just got to really, really just be like aggressive with it. Not too aggressive, but aggressive to the point where it's like you are letting everybody know exactly what it is that you're doing. So they know exactly what you're doing and they don't have any interpretations. Don't leave anything up to interpretation, right? You have to know and tell them exactly what you expect and exactly what it is that you do. And that goes with anything in life, really. Business, relationships, whatever. And then offer free value. Yeah. So like when you're first getting into it, you have to offer free value, because let's say if you don't have anything that you can provide to somebody, offering something for free. Who doesn't like shit for free? That's all I'm saying. Sometimes there is strings attached, but who doesn't like shit that's free? You have to understand that by offering something for free, they're more inclined to be like, okay, yeah, there is no risk to me. It's all risk to the person that's providing the service, which would be you. And then now it's lost my train of fucking thought. Jesus Christ. When you offer things for free, people are more inclined because it's less risky for them. The more risky it is for the other party, the less likely they are to agree on something that could potentially cause them harm, right? So if you offer something for free to somebody, or a service for free, they can then see the quality of what you do. They can then see how you work and everything. And then you can go back and negotiate, be like, hey, look, I offered this for free and you actually enjoyed it and you like it. And I think this is what you need. So this is the price. And if they actually enjoyed what you did and they know that you are going to provide that same exact quality and maybe even higher now that they're actually going to be paying you, then they're more likely to actually want to work with you. You've built that relationship, you've built that trust, and now they know what you're able to do and they're willing to pay you for it. And that's the thing of free value. And that also goes with content, right? Being able to provide free value, free templates for videos or something like that, or free information on how to do X, Y, and Z, free, just free document or free information on exactly how you do what it is you do. Like just something as simple as that, just offering free advice. It really, it's not complicated. And I see a lot of people overcomplicating it, but it's really not complicated. And follow-ups. You have to follow up. Look, if you don't follow up with somebody, it's going to be a dead lead. You're going to lose it, right? Because forget who said it, but a majority of the time, it takes about 8 contacts to actually get in a conversation and actually get into a meeting with a lead or a potential client, right? So with that, if you send one message to 100 different people and then you never follow up with them, you're losing hundreds of leads. You're losing hundreds of leads that you could essentially turn into actually paying clients. Because you're also got to think about it. They are people too. They have busy schedules and maybe they just didn't see it. Maybe they were just too busy. Maybe they did read it and just didn't think about it again and they just forgot about it. So you have to continuously remind them. It's that aggressive kind of making them know exactly what it is that you're doing. You got to put yourself in front of them so they know exactly what you're doing as you're doing it and trying to continuously have them thinking about you and what you're offering. Oh, man. Whew. All right. So what you could do is essentially offer free value. Like when you offer free value in return, you do like 1 month free for a free testimonial or a free referral, right? That's the only thing you ask in return from these people that you're potentially working with. Because the hardest part is getting that first client. You just have to get that first client that you can actually build your reputation with, right? Because once you actually show that you have somebody that is willing to work with you as a freelancer or as a business owner or wherever you're at, you know, once you have people actually working with you and they trust you with paying you enough to do the service that you're providing, then you can go to that next person and actually use them as a testimonial, use them as a referral. You know, we'll have them refer you to other people and be able to actually say like, look, I provided this value to them and I can do the same for you as well. And that kind of builds you up and that builds you up and that builds you up as you get more clients, you have more to go off of. You're building your portfolio, building your experience, you're getting better. You're going to be able to charge higher prices. So you just have to really understand that by first getting that first client and doing anything you can to get that first client, even just working for free. I worked for free for the first few months of doing what I did. I didn't make any money off of what I was doing at first, but then it slowly started to pick up, right? And I was able to charge a higher price and a higher price and a higher price. It's really a snowball effect. It compounds, and you have to really understand that. And then professional email communication. Yeah, so at a certain point, you will have to start to shift more into a professional sense of having your own domain, having your own website, having your own business essentially actually built out as an LLC, which I would highly recommend you actually opening an LLC once you get to the point of making 10K or whatever per month. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't quote me on that. But essentially, at a certain point, you will have to build out an actual professional business. And then you'll have to build out your domain. You'll have to have different things that are actually professional that will allow you to do what it is that you need to do to present yourself in a professional manner. Because as you get more into business and depending on who it is that you're actually communicating with, it's very important that you're actually presenting yourself in a proper way so people have more trust and have more respect for you and your business and what you do and what you offer. Because if someone came to me with some janky ass email, something that looked sketch, like a shitty website, like, I'm sorry, but I'm most likely not going to work with you. Like, there's no way I'm going to work with you. I mean, we work with people like that and they pay us, but I wouldn't have somebody coming to me and wanting to work with me for that. They would pay me to be able to actually help them increase that. But just what I'm trying to say is that if you aren't representing yourself in a proper way, you will lose deals because of it. People won't want to work with you because you aren't professional enough or you're not presenting yourself in the right way. And that can be hard, especially when you're a younger person trying to get into stuff like this. It can be very difficult, but part of that is just fucking taking it on the chin and just trying to, even if you don't look professional, trying to be as professional as possible. Because one of the things that you face when you're young and you're trying to get into business and entrepreneurship is respect. Respect from the people that are older than you and have been in this shit for 10, 20, 30 fucking years. It really comes down to being able to just roll with the punches. Because, you know, I've had a bunch of people like, oh, you're just a kid. You're just a kid. You know, it can be degrading and it can fucking hurt and suck. But if you represent yourself in the right way and demand respect in what you do, that just goes so much farther. It comes down to the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you represent yourself online, and what you do when you're around people and how you treat the people around you. It comes down to the right representation of yourself. So if you've ever had any struggles with that, I mean, it's taken me a long time to be able to get to the point where I'm at and be able to actually represent myself and represent my business. So if y'all ever have any questions about that, I'd love to answer and help y'all with that. And then finally, negotiate terms and contracts. So this is the fun part. I love negotiating. I love writing contracts. I love essentially, that, I don't know. There's something so fascinating about stuff like that to me. So with that, you have to understand negotiation, and essentially you don't have any really grounds to make demands when you're just first starting, because if you were the best video editor in the world, you could negotiate the shit out of your price. Like, dude, if you want someone else to do it, go ahead, go find someone else. I want $1 million for this shit, right? And then that puts them in a tough position. But since you are starting and you are just now starting, you don't have any grounds to make demands. So essentially, what you're most likely going to have to do is settle and meet in the middle. Because let's say you have a demand. Let's say, hey, I'll work for free, but I want at the very end you to give me a testimonial so I can use you as a reference. And they're like, okay, yes, that's fine, but I want you to work for 2 months for that. 2 months free, not doing anything else. You have to figure out exactly where it is that you land, because once you negotiate that contract and you sign that contract, you are locked into that until the end of that contract. So you have to understand exactly what it is you're signing, exactly what it is you're doing, and the negotiations that you're having. You got to make sure that it's smart decisions and not rash decisions. Because for me, I'm going to admit my first experience with something like this was very interesting. And it's like I got what I wanted, but also didn't at the same time, if that makes sense, because I got my first paying client. I got my very first paying client. We signed a contract. We did everything officially. And what happened was we negotiated, and I didn't have any grounds to negotiate on. So essentially, I was going in and I wanted money right off the bat. But he said, we'll have a week to 2 week period of like a trial run, test run. And I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. And that put me in a tough position, right? Because at the time I was still in college. And I needed money. And I wasn't working another job. I was just doing my business and doing everything else, like all my other schoolwork and shit. I was a full-time student. But essentially, it was like I got the short end of the straw, and that put me in a tough position. So you have to make sure that what you're negotiating, you're not too ambitious or too emotional with this decision that you make and jumping into things too quickly. You have to understand what it is you're actually doing. Negotiate, build the contract, make sure it makes sense, and don't make decisions right off the bat. I would say if someone tries to give you a split decision like that, just be like, no, that's interesting. Well, I'll have to think about it. I'll get back to you early tomorrow morning. How does that sound? Something like that, so you can think about it. Because making decisions right off the bat, if you don't have to, you're most likely going to make some kind of fuck up. You're going to mess up in some area, and you don't want to do that. Just bottom line, you don't want to do that, and that can put you back, right? And then finally, requesting
quick live, huh?
Quick live, yeah.
Quick live, huh? What's up, chat? How are you guys?
Grant. Yes, sir.
I'm not here today, but I'll be here tomorrow.
He'll be here tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow. He said he was gonna do. He didn't need me here today because he was gonna do.
I was gonna do a short one,
5-minute live.
I was gonna do like just running through ChatGPT, but hey, what can you do? But no, it's like.
See you guys tomorrow. Listen to Aidan. He's got good stuff for you.
Hey, we got Rhino on tomorrow or Brendan?
Brendan's tomorrow.
Okay, we'll get Rhino on Monday.
We should have Rhino on the pod.
The podcast? We'll shoot it this weekend.
Yeah, we'll do the pod.
Sorry, we're trying to figure shit out. But let's get back to it. So, request testimonial, professional, negotiate terms and conditions. Yeah, terms and conditions. When you're negotiating and you're talking about contracts, you really have to understand exactly what it is that you're talking about. Because if you sign something that doesn't make sense or that you can't fulfill, let's say you are a video editor. I've been using this example heavily because this is what I started in. I started in video editing and being a freelancer. So, with video editing, you have to understand that, let's say you sign a contract and you negotiate a contract for $5,000 per month. And that is a good fucking price, especially if that's your first client. That is solid. That is like baseline. That's exactly where, like, that's the average right now. And if you're at that price point, what comes along with that? What are you offering at that price point? What did you write into the contract at that price point? Because let's say you said, oh, I'll make 100 videos per month for this price. Is that possible? Are you actually going to make 100 good quality videos? What are they expecting? What quality are they expecting? Did you lay out exactly what it is that you're going to be doing every month? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to get a client, and it's another thing to keep the client long term. Think about that. It's easy to get a client, and it's not easy to get a client. It's easier to get a client than it is to actually maintain clients, because you have to keep them happy and you have to maintain the relationship that you have with them. If you aren't providing high quality videos, 100 high quality videos per month, then they're probably going to go find somebody that is going to be able to charge less, as well as make more at a higher quality than what you're doing. So you got to really think about exactly what it is that you're signing and agreeing to. Because if you agree to that and then you don't fulfill that, then they may be able to do some kind of harm legally to you. You got to remember that, because I like to say I hold all the cards in my hand, because then I can play my cards as I see fit. But if I am the one that is being played, I don't agree with that. I like to have everything in my favor so I can make the best decision possible for me and my company and the people around me. So part of that is writing in contracts that are in favor of you, and not just in favor of you, but are also in the favor of the people that you're working with. It's the relationship side of that. It's the trust side of that. Because the clients that you're working with, they have to trust and know that you are going to fulfill what it is that you've promised, and that you're going to do it at a good quality, and you're going to consistently do it. I fucking hate that shit. Oh my God. I don't know if it keeps popping up. I really can't tell if that keeps popping up when I put my thumbs up. Is it? Oh shit. Yeah, it is. Okay. Sorry. There's a delay on the Instagram, but on the live. But yeah, so it's like you have to negotiate. And I really want y'all to think about it, because if you're signing something into a contract that you can't fulfill, that is going to lead you down a dark path, and that could potentially harm you very, very seriously down the line. So you have to understand what you're negotiating in the contracts that you're making, so that you truly understand the ins and the outs. You have to understand everything from an entire holistic approach, as well as in minute details. You have to know exactly what you're doing, because like I said, you have to be ready to negotiate and finalize terms in written contracts. And if you aren't ready to do that, then your first client may fuck you over. And it's not to say that everyone's out to, but you know, there are some snakes out there. There's some people that may try and essentially not pay you because the contract wasn't written or the contract wasn't right, you know? So you got to look out for yourself. And part of that is the negotiation on the contracts. And that goes back to the learning about legal, trying to understand what it takes to run a business as far as taxes and law goes. And then finally, the very last thing that I'm going to talk about is deliver high quality work. You always have to deliver projects on time and at a high quality, because this goes back to the part of maintaining your clients. It's easier to get clients and it's harder to maintain clients. So you have to negotiate a price, you have to negotiate what you are offering, and then you have to offer that every single time at a high quality, exactly, at a high quality. And if you aren't providing it at a high quality at that price every single time, and you're late and things are going down, you know, productivity is low, they are more likely going to actually separate from y'all than it is to stay with you. It just makes more sense for them to go to somebody else that is going to provide that than what you're going to provide. You have to remember, it's all a competitive market. Everything is competitive. You are competing against other people that are either in the same fucking situation, in the same seat as you, or a little bit ahead, or even farther ahead. You got to remember, people have been around for 60, 70 years doing the same shit. And you probably 5-10 years maybe on your skills, maybe. Like I have 10 years in video experience. Like that's only 10 years. Right? I'm only 20. I've only been doing this since I was like 10 or 12. So with that, you have to understand you're competing with the people that have more experience. You have to figure out what your competitive edge is. You have to deliver high quality content, high quality videos, high quality services and products so that people continuously come back to you for what you offer, because no one else gets that same quality from anywhere else, right? Your prices are so competitive. You are the only place that is worth going to because your prices are so good and the quality that you provide is so good that no one else wants to go to anyone else. So you have to remember that you have to provide a quality that is high. And as you bring on more clients, like I was saying earlier, as you bring on more clients and you're trying to get to that 10K and above mark, that's the time when you might have to start bringing on team members to actually help you service the clients that you're working with. But yeah, well, that is going to essentially be the end of what I'm talking about today. I really wanted to talk about mainly AI, but it kind of went on to talking holistically about business and everything you need to do. But essentially, all I wanted to show y'all today was how you can use ChatGPT to make you understand exactly what it is that you're trying to do and help it assist you in being able to figure out what the next steps are. Build out your strategy, build out your step-by-step guide, build out exactly what it is that you need to be able to get into the right conversation. It's supposed to be a compass and pointing you in the right direction, not necessarily getting you exactly where you want to be by doing it automatically. Like, you still have to put in the work, but it gives you an idea. It gives you understanding. It gives you the different perspective that you may not have thought about it before. So I think that is super, super powerful. And with ChatGPT, there's so many more things that you can do with it, but this is pretty much like the most basic, communicating with it, just talking to it, trying to understand your ideas and trying to have it communicate back with you. It's literally just an intelligent being that you're talking to. You're just having a conversation and you're getting in conversation with it. And as you conversate, it's learning more about you and what you're trying to do, and you're learning a little more about what you're trying to do as well. So I would say definitely test it out, definitely see how it works for you, and just mess with it. Just mess with it, because the way that I've been able to use this and get as good as I am at using this, and I'm actually able to have this execute multiple different things, search the internet, pull information from different things, create data tables, spreadsheets, different things like that. It's really powerful, but you have to know how to use it first. You have to understand the basics to then get into that. And that can be a completely separate video. I'll probably make an entire podcast about that and exactly how to use ChatGPT, the basics all the way to the advanced. Maybe it could be some kind of video series. I don't know. But I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining in. And I will see y'all tomorrow. And Grant will be here as well. And I believe we will be having a guest, my boy Brendan Lyon. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take it easy.